Okay, in this lesson, we will take a look at time and dates in Excel. Now, before we get too into doing date and time calculations, it's important to understand the way Excel works with and stores time and dates. And yes, I'll fully acknowledge that odds are in real life you will not have to get too deep with this, yet it's still going to be important to know for possible future reference. Let's start with dates. In Excel, dates are stored as serial numbers. Put another way, Excel presents the date to us in a way we can understand. Behind the scenes, it stores the date in a way that Excel can understand. And the way Excel stores those numbers allows us to use them in calculations. Let's take a look to illustrate this. Here we have two columns of the exact same date, and on one side, it's been labeled Date in Our World, and on the other side, it's labeled Date in Excel's World. So if we want to see the actual serial number behind the scenes, we can jump over here to the column called Date in Excel's World, select those dates, then go over here to where it says Clear Formats. The date will disappear, and we'll be left with a bunch of goofy numbers. These goofy numbers are the date in Excel. Put a different way, August 31st of 2005 in our world was 38,595 in Excel's world. Now, just to clarify where all this comes from, please recognize that day 1 in the computer is January 1st, 1900. And we can prove that by looking down here. You'll see the numbers 1, 2, and 3 in two separate columns. So if we take the numbers on the left-hand side and apply a date format to those, you will see they come back reading January 1st, January 2nd, and January 3rd of 1900. Put a different way, if you look up here, as of January 1st of 2023, 44,927 days have passed since January 1st of 1900. Yeah, think about that for a little while. All right, let's move on and talk about time. When you work with time in Excel, the way time is stored is as a percentage. Phrased differently and going one level deeper, as the day moves on, a certain percentage of time has passed. Now that definitely sounds a little weird, so let's clarify that by way of illustration. Over here, we have two columns, both showing identical times. The one on the left is labeled Time in Our World. The one on the right is labeled Time in Excel's World. So if we want to explore that percentage of the day that has passed concept, if we go up here and clear our formats, we'll notice that we are left with a bunch of goofy decimals. Now these decimals are showing you the percentage of the day that has passed with the given time. Put another way, at 9 o'clock in the morning, 37.5% of the day has passed. At 12 p.m., 50% of the day has passed. At 9 p.m. in the evening, 87.5% of the day has passed. And at 11:59 p.m., 99.9% of the day has passed. So on a finer note, whenever you are working with time in Excel, you want to make sure Excel recognizes the numbers you've typed as time. The way you do that is to make sure you put a space in between the time and typing AM or PM. If you do not put a space in there, Excel will not recognize what you typed as time. Let's see a quick illustration. So if we jump down here to a random cell and type out 12:15 p.m. and make sure to include the space, Excel will recognize it as time. By contrast, if we click into a different cell and type out 12:15 p.m. with no space, you can see that Excel did not recognize this as time. So that is something very important to keep in mind whenever you work with time. To wrap up this lesson, the big takeaway is the following. Whenever you work with dates or time in Excel, even though it may be displayed as a date or a time, behind the scenes, it's actually a number. Once you get that concept under your belt, date and time calculations get a lot easier.